I'm Tara Marie, and I'm a fitness expert, personal trainer, and motivational strategist. Optimal health is achieved when you're balanced mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, and spiritually. My goal is to bring you information that will help you be the best version of you. Hey, well, hello and welcome to Tara Marie Live, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Tara Marie Segundo, your host, and I'm a fitness expert, a personal trainer, and a motivational strategist, and we're coming to you from the Hangar Studios right here in beautiful New York City. Now, Tara Marie Live is a podcast about mental, emotional, physical, social, and spiritual health. And my background is in exercise physiology. And I learned from working one-on-one with clients that all parts of what make us up as people, all of these parts are inextricably linked. So to have a truly healthy body, you have to have a healthy mind and a healthy soul. And if your physical health is out of whack, it'll take a toll on your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So you need to nurture all of these parts of who you are all the time to have optimal health. Now, today I'm doing one of my favorite kind of shows. I'm talking to my listeners. I get great emails from fantastic people all the time who are doing their very best. But sometimes life just doesn't turn out the way we have planned. Your life can literally change completely within a matter of minutes. And when this happens, you have to go through all the stages of sadness, loss, grief, anger, and despair often, and finally come to a place of acceptance when you can create your new normal. So first, I'm going to be checking in with Russell, who is a man that I talked to back in June of this year after his younger sister tragically lost her life to suicide. So Russell, are you there on the line?
I'm here.
How are you, Russell, from California?
Hey, we're hanging in there. We are hanging in there, doing the best we can.
Now, were you just curious, you weren't near any of the fires, were you? No.
Yeah, I actually was working the fires. So yeah, I was all through Malibu and saw tragedy and despair up close and personal. It was a hard time.
You know, and that's something that the theme of today's show is from setback to comeback. And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to talk to you, because obviously you sustained a huge setback when your
hmm
sister took her life in March. But, you know, this show is applicable to so many people because a setback can be something like having your house burned down, losing your house in a hurricane, losing your home, it's not just loss of life or loss of, a loss of health. It can, these things are devastating to people.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I saw people thanking God on their hands and knees that their house wasn't burned down. And then the very next house after that, people are on their knees with their head to the ground crying because
Yeah.
they lost everything. So, yeah, that was definitely a hard thing.
What were you doing out there for work in that?
So we basically, the company I work for, we're a petroleum distribution company, and since they don't have any power, they set generators up all through Malibu and the hills of Malibu. And so basically, my job is to ensure that those generators are filled. So I manage that process.
Understood. Is that so now is that kind of calming down now that the wildfires are under control?
It's calming down in the towards the coast, like they call it PCH, which is Pacific Coast Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Over there, the power is back on, but up in the hills at elevation, there's still lacking power. So we're still keeping those generators full every day.
Now, Russell, when I talked to you in June,
Yes,
so your sister Danielle,
yes.
she committed suicide on March 30th, 2018. I believe we talked on June 17th or 18th. It was something right around there. So it was really shortly thereafter. You weren't working at the time. Is this your first job
Yeah, this is
since?
my first job
Mm,
back. I wasn't able to work. I don't know how I made it, but
yeah.
I was literally dealing with PTSD and anxiety attacks and panic attacks, and it was hard to get off the couch.
Yeah.
It was really hard to get off the couch. So, um, but through time, and I started going through therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get my hands on some anxiety pills that calmed me down enough so that I could finally get stable enough to start working. So,
Right. Right.
so yeah, so I started working maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Good for you. Good for you. And has that helped you in your grieving?
It has helped because it keeps me Busy, and then
Mhm.
also now I have health insurance now, which allows me access to resources so that I can get a primary care physician. And I went to
Okay.
see one last week, and he put me on some anti-anxiety medications, antidepressants, and unbelievably, that's stopped my panic attacks within the last 5 or 6 days. I haven't had not one, and
Do
I have them every day.
Do you mind telling me what the name of that med is?
It's called Paxil. I think it's
P
Paxil.
Paxil. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then when I'm actually having a panic attack, I take Xanax.
Okay. So Paxil and Xanax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And the
wondering because
Paxil is
it.
an antidepressant.
Yeah, antidepressant and then Xanax. Just wondering if maybe it was Klonopin. Klonopin can knock out an elephant.
Okay.
Yeah. You may not need these. I have nothing against anti-anxiety medications or antidepressants whatsoever. I think that they could be good jump starts. Sometimes people through tragic events and like you said people should understand, and if people want to refer to the show on which I first interviewed you, if you go to tamary.com, the name of that show was Healing After Loss. People should know, as they're listening to you now, that you were the one who found your sister
I did.
in the
I did.
bathroom, and that's what the PTSD is from. Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. And it's uncontrollable. It comes out of nowhere.
Hmm.
And I wish I could say that there was something that I could do, like breathing techniques or, um, I even exercise, because I know you told me, you said our first conversation, you said you get in the best shape of your life. And I tried to, get back in the gym because I'm a
Hmm.
runner,
Hmm.
and I found myself getting dizzy on the treadmill. And so that wasn't working for me. Um,
Did you
so
just
I stopped working out.
Just out of curiosity, at the gym, did you try weight training? Because I was thinking even more weight training insofar as because I find weight training to be very grounding. And
Okay.
this is something that I've found when my physical body is strong. I feel more mentally strong because it's funny when my physical body is strong and I've built my physical body up like a fortress, people respond to me differently and it makes me feel stronger. So it's the way I look. I put the energy out, people respond in kind, and then I have those feelings on the inside. So physical strength actually makes me feel mentally stronger. And actually, believe it or not, it makes me feel more mentally in control. And see,
Mm.
to me, what I hear you describing is almost an out of control feeling because you're having flashbacks to when you found your sister.
I'd say that's pretty accurate. I
Yeah.
definitely would say that's pretty accurate.
So,
And so since I started taking this medication, and I'm glad that you brought in the weight training, I actually have been back in the gym,
mhm,
started yesterday.
okay.
So I've been running the treadmill for 30 minutes yesterday and today. And I'm glad you said weight training because I used to be heavy into weights in my younger years.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to get back into that.
Weight training, for me, it feels like a good coping mechanism because real weight training, the kind that I mean, the real intense weight training requires 100% of your focus. When my
Hmm.
when my mother was dying and my whole life was just falling apart, there was so much sadness in my life I couldn't even breathe sometimes. I would give myself 1 hour a day at the gym. And that was the 1 hour a day I didn't think about my problems. Because in order to do the kind of focused weight training I'm referring to, you have to focus on your body and your breathing. You can't,
Hmm.
you cannot, a basic principle of physics. Two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. So you can't be focused on your breathing and your muscles and also be focused on your panic, your anxiety, and what you went through with your sister.
Understood. Yeah, I'm sure you can hurt yourself if you're doing
Yeah.
that with serious weight
The
training.
way most people, I see a lot of injuries in the gym, and it's often because people are not paying attention. They're not
Mhm.
concentrating. And
Absolutely.
so if you were to get into a serious weight training program, it would really, I think it would calm you. I think it would give you a sense of control. And to me, when you have anxiety and PTSD, it's like you feel kind of out of control when your heart's racing and you feel like, the world is collapsing around you. Is that your
Yes.
doggy?
That is my dog. I'm
Is that your
sorry. I'm
dog?
gonna put her away. I
Okay.
apologize.
But so I think that the weight training would give you a sense of control. I think it would calm you. And I think it would make you feel different about yourself. When you feel different about yourself, you present differently to the world. When you present differently to the world, the world responds to you differently. And so it's just like this nice cycle. And it would require that focus on your part for at least that hour, hour and a half a day.
Okay. And I appreciate you saying that because that's something that I definitely want to do is get my physical body
Yeah,
back in order. 'Cause, as you said, because the mental and the spiritual and the emotional and the physical, they're all connected. So
absolutely.
um, I definitely need to get my physical body back in order. And for me, the treadmill because I probably over the last 4 or 5 years, I lost like 75 pounds, and it
Okay.
was from running.
Okay.
Uh, so my default was to run, but I definitely would like to incorporate the weights back into my routine because I was big into the weights in college.
Well, the other thing that's nice about the weights, and I'm not against running at all. I mean, running's great, especially if you have anxiety. Running to me is a very rhythmic, soothing thing. Especially
Sure.
like if I run down by the water, down by the Hudson River. If you can
Sure.
run near a body of water, it's very soothing, just because it's very steady and rhythmic, and you kind of lull yourself into this pace. But what I like about weight training is, again, it boosts my morale, it boosts my self-esteem, and weight training changes the shape of your physical body, whereas running, the shape of your body doesn't really change. With weight training, you can make your shoulders bigger, you can make your arms bigger. You can change the shape of your body as though it's a piece of clay. And so it's
Absolutely.
almost like a piece of artwork that you're creating with your body.
Right. Like a project almost.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I usually I pick something that I'm going to do or focus on for the 6 months or the year, and that I make that my focus. Like, this is my goal within my physique. So you can have fun with it. And again, I think it would just be good for you psychologically. But I just wanted to say that, so your sister committed suicide 8 months ago, 8.5 months ago now.
About 8.5 months ago, yes.
Yeah. About how would you gauge how you've been doing? Because you sound really good right now.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, that's actually her birthday today, and I'm surprised that I'm not falling apart.
Yeah.
But I think it probably has something to do with the medication.
Hmm.
Um, I called the place that I was in. I called it the sunken place. That's where I was for a long, long
Say
time.
it again, honey. The sunken place?
Sunken, Sunken,
Got it.
sunken place. I got that from Kanye West because he said he was in a sunken place when he was dealing with his emotional
His
issues.
mother died. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And so, and then I got into substance abuse, started drinking, just out of control, and now I'm trying to get all that under control. I'll say that right now. I still have, so I started going to Alcoholics Anonymous,
Okay.
um, and I haven't completely stopped drinking, but at least I've made the step to at least get around other people who have the same issue that I have.
Now, let me ask you. So, since I talked to you, you fell back into substance abuse, or was this prior to when I talked to you?
I'd say prior to that, I don't think I would consider it a problem.
Okay.
After that, I considered it a problem, if I could say it that way.
Wait. So after I talked to you, you kind of drifted back into it
Yes,
to
correct.
numb yourself.
Absolutely. To cope.
Yeah, to cope.
To cope.
And also drinking. So it was both drugs and drinking.
Well, you know what? I tried to smoke marijuana because it's legal here, so we
Hmm.
can just go to any dispensary and get it. And so I tried it, and remarkably, it did work.
Okay.
Um, but I knew that I had to get a job. So getting a job and having marijuana in your system, those two necessarily don't align themselves.
Right. Right.
So I let the marijuana go.
I got it. You could always do CBD. You could always do CBD oil that doesn't have THC in it. You know that, yes?
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so listen, because I just started taking CBD oil myself. It
Okay.
balances the brain beautifully. CBD is cannabidiol oil. It doesn't have THC in it. The CBD and THC are two of the constituents of the marijuana plant. But CBD oil is very different. It doesn't have any psychoactive effects. Psychoactive, is that
Okay.
it doesn't have any it doesn't screw with your brain. And so I take
Got it.
CBD oil, and what it does is it balances the brain and it heals the brain. And if you want to listen to, I did a whole show on it. It was February of 20 just go to my website, go to the
Okay.
page for Tamry.com, and it's
Yep.
called like CBD oil, the controversy and the benefits or something. Just if you search my podcast, it's CBD oil is in the title. But we did a whole show about it, and Dr. Patricia Pimentel Selassie beautifully explains the benefits of CBD oil on the body and the brain.
I'll definitely look at that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
please. And actually, if I can remember when I get home, I'll email you a link to it. But it's something you might want to look into because you'll have no THC in your system.
Good. I appreciate
Or is
that.
it TCH? I don't know. I'm not a
THC.
THC. Yeah, I don't know much.
THC, there it
I
is.
don't know much about drugs. So yeah. So listen. Did you? I don't know much about.
I'll back you up.
No. Yeah. Rich is laughing. Rich is laughing. I don't know anything about drugs. I don't know anything about alcohol. Yeah. When I was we laugh because when I was in high school, Russell, you'll crack up. When I was in high school, I got a detention one time. Guess why I got the detention?
Why is that?
Because I had gone to a Bible study in the morning before school, and I got to school late. Rich is rolling goes, I got to school late because Russell, I had been at a Bible study.
At a Bible study.
And I
The
got to,
irony.
and I got to first period late, so they gave me a detention.
Wait, so there's no
'Cause you were at Bible
marijuana is not
study.
a part of this story at all?
No, there's no. I was at a
It's-
Bible study. I was at a Bible study, and I was late to school. So,
Goody two-shoes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was one of those, but so yeah, forgive me if I don't know all the right terms, but Russell, we'll get you that show. Russell, honey, did you continue with your support group? Remember, one of the things I really wanted you to do, because you were really filled with despair, I wanted you to get in a grief support group,
Yes.
preferably targeted for people who had lost loved ones by way of suicide, because it's such a very different kind of loss. Did you
Yes.
do that, and did you continue?
I did do that. There's a company, and I think they're just a local nonprofit called Diddy Hirsch. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
But yeah, so they had an 8-week intensive. It's called Survivors After Suicide.
Okay.
Grief counseling. And so you're basically sitting in a room with people who are exactly like you. And so I went through the 8-week course, and now we meet once a month. One Saturday a month we meet, just to all kind of touch bases with each other. But there are people there who've been 20 years,
Right.
and there's people who are fresh like me. So it definitely helps, and thank you for that suggestion. It definitely helped.
Can you get in a support group? So you're going to now you're going to Alcoholics Anonymous. I imagine that's a couple times a week. Yeah. Okay. Is there? I would love if you would get in a support group for survivors of suicide. Family survivors of people who've committed suicide, a grieving support group. Even if it wasn't just for suicide, I would love it if you could get into a grief support group that you could go more than once a month if you felt the need, if you were going through a rough patch. Because listen to me, Russell, the holidays are coming up. The holidays are here. The holidays are here. We're in it.
We're in it.
And this is, your sister died on the 30th of March. So now you're going through that whole year of firsts.
Yes.
The reason that grief, especially that first year, is so hard is because it's our first Easter. Danielle should be here. It's
Yes.
if you guys had family things that you did in the summertime, Danielle should be here. Now,
Absolutely.
it was Thanksgiving. Danielle's seat is empty. So right now, it might benefit you greatly to have a little extra support if you want it. And it doesn't have to be for families of suicide. It could be just a grief support group.
Yes.
And they are all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely have a couple of contacts, and you're right. The community of that support group is really helpful, because when you're grieving,
Yeah.
you can't necessarily talk to everybody. You can't necessarily let everybody in that safe, sacred space. You know what I mean? And so being around other people who are like you, talking to other people who are like you, is definitely helpful. And I will take that. I just wrote that down. And
I
so I'm
would.
going to look into that.
I would, sweetie, because listen, it's the holidays, and the holidays can be hard for a lot of people. Suicide rates go up during the holidays. I don't know if you know that, but they
Yeah,
do.
I did know that.
And
Yeah.
for people, for someone like you who you lost someone, holidays can be difficult anyway. You might just benefit from a little extra support. And what you said is spot on. You can't necessarily talk to everybody. And it's not because people don't mean well, because I think people do. I really believe people mean well. But people are trying to look out for you. Some people, they feel like maybe they can't bring it up or maybe they shouldn't bring it up because they don't want to upset you.
Right.
You know, if you start to bring it up, some people might get kind of, they might feel awkward, like they don't know what to say to you.
Absolutely.
You
They
know,
change that's a subject changer really quickly.
right, right,
You
right.
know, and then people don't necessarily know how to um, help help you. Like, I don't want to have the same old conversations that we were having before Danielle died.
Hmm.
The things that are going on inside of me are different,
Yeah.
and so I can't have the same sports conversation, the same,
Mm-mm.
what did you do this weekend conversations.
No.
I need more substantive conversation in order to
Yeah.
um,
Connect.
really find in order
Yeah.
to connect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the thing is your life and the life of everyone in Danielle's life is forever changed.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
You can't fix this. You can't, there's nothing anybody that can say that's going to fix this. There's nothing anybody can do to fix this. Grief is not meant to be fixed. It's
No.
just meant you have to cope. You just have to, what you have to do is you have to learn how to now cope with the new life, the new normal, without this person in it. And that's why it takes time. That's why it's a process.
Yes.
How is the rest of your family doing with, like, let's just talk about Thanksgiving that just passed. How did everyone do?
So most of my family's back in the Midwest, so it was
Okay.
really literally just me, Danielle, and my mom here.
Okay.
And so now it's just me and my mom. And my mom did not want to do anything on Christmas, not Christmas, excuse me, on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So I found some friends and I went and hung out with some friends on Thanksgiving.
Okay. And what did your mama do?
I want to say she probably did not leave the house that day.
Did
I'm
she
pretty sure of it.
did she get out of bed?
Probably not. Probably not. I did not. I didn't. I think we text.
Okay.
And I was like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, I'm hanging in there." But a grieving mother, you let them grieve however they need to grieve.
Now let me clarify because I don't remember this detail. You and Danielle, you and your sister were roommates or housemates. Yeah.
Correct.
Your
Correct.
mother your mother lives how far away?
Probably an hour with traffic.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. She's not local.
Okay. Do you worry about her, Russell?
I do worry about her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have family back in the Midwest, but it's just she and I here,
Right.
and so we definitely have shared with each other that we are all that we have
Mm-hmm.
is each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's terrifying to me when I call her and she doesn't pick up, or if I text her and it takes too long for her to call me back.
Mm-hmm.
She's not an older woman, but she's 68, which means she's not a young woman either. So, you know, so it's terrifying
Yeah.
to know that death is real, because it is real, and to know that my mom is going to die one day. I just want it to be a long time from now, not anytime soon. So I freak out for sure.
Are you going to see your mama at Christmas?
I don't know the answer to that. It's up to her. If um, she wants to celebrate, we will. And if she
Okay.
doesn't want to celebrate, then we won't. And I'll find something else to do. I have friends here who are like family, and so I definitely have a community that I can get with, but there's nothing like being with your mother
I know.
on the holiday. There's nothing like that.
Russell, have you suggested to your mother to perhaps get some sort of psychological support, either in the form of a group, a grief group, a counseling group, or just one-on-one grief counseling? There are therapists who specialize, their whole specialty is grief.
Yes. Yeah, no, I definitely have. And she has dug her heels all the way in. She said, I don't like to share my feelings with people like that.
Oh.
And so her heels are dug in there. Every time I go to a session, I ask her if you want to come.
Mm-hmm.
She says, no, I'm okay. And so I don't push it. I don't pressure her. When she's ready, she'll go.
And
if she'll ever be ready.
What about one-on-one, Russell, with a therapist?
I don't know if she would be willing to do that either.
Okay.
I think it would benefit her.
Yeah.
Greatly. Because she needs to talk about it,
Yeah. Yes.
with someone other than me. Yeah, and she and I talk about it all the time because I'm her son.
Yes.
And I'm a safe place, and I was here. So we talk about it every time we talk, usually. That's her way of getting it out, is talking to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely would love for her to get with a grief group or a one-on-one counselor.
Yeah.
But I've tried, and she just won't do it.
But Russell, you understand, in her defense, and I'm sorry that she's digging in her heels. To be fair, my father would probably do the same thing. Like, I can picture certain, people of a certain generation, they think it's weird, right?
Correct.
But to be fair to her, it's outside of the natural order of life to bury your child. We're not supposed to put our kids in coffins and put them in the ground. That's not how,
No.
So to be fair to her, this is a blow that you took it hard. However, my attitude is probably however you took it, times that by 100. Yeah. I mean, the poor woman is just flattened by this.
Absolutely. I liken it to a Mack truck hitting your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not getting physically hit, but hitting your spirit, hitting your soul, and literally flattening you.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she's done it, but she keeps busy.
Yeah.
And she keeps going. I think that's her way of coping, is to stay busy, work a lot of hours,
Okay.
keep her mind occupied.
Yeah, but the holidays are going to be so hard. So
Yeah,
hard
they
for her. You know what I would do if I were you, Russell? Even if she says, I don't want to do anything for Christmas, just say, Ma, you know what? That's cool. We don't have to do anything, but I'm just going to come be with you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Just go be with her. Just go be with her. And if she wants to sit in the house, just sit in the house with her.
Yeah.
If she wants to go outside for a walk, if she doesn't. The first year after my mother died, my father didn't want to put up any decorations. He didn't want anything to do with anything. Like that was what he just didn't want to. So that we just didn't.
Yeah, it was painful.
We just didn't. You just go with it. But if I were you, and I'm just saying this because if God forbid, anything were to happen, I don't want you to have any kind of guilt about anything. If I were you, if I were in your shoes, I would say, Ma, what do you want to do for Christmas? Russell, I don't want to do anything. Okay, Ma, I'll come do nothing with you. And just go be with her for a couple days.
I think I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like it, and I'm gonna do that.
And just
whether she likes it or not.
And take the lead from her. Whatever she wants to do. If she wants to completely ignore the fact that it's Christmas, ignore it.
Absolutely.
Just take the lead from her. I wanted to ask you, because one of the things we talked about specifically on the show in June was, as regards your health, you wanted to clean up your diet.
Yes.
I did a really interesting show. The last podcast I did was with a naturopathic physician, and it was called Food and Mood. And it was quite fascinating, something that I think you should hear, given that you're kind of struggling with brain chemistry right now.
Okay.
Because now, if you're ever going to eat clean in your life, and if you're ever going to take care of your body in the most pristine way possible, now would be the time to do it. Not for any aesthetic reason, but just for pure brain chemistry, because things like alcohol, drugs, processed foods, sugar foods, trash, junk, any kind of stuff like that, it messes with your serotonin and your dopamine levels in your brain. And that's how we get off balance with our moods.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So talk to me about how you've been eating.
It's My appetite has not returned. I used to eat pretty clean.
Okay.
I'd have a smoothie every morning, a green smoothie.
Okay.
That was pre-Danielle. But post-Danielle, I just couldn't find the motivation to do that.
Okay.
So I still eat my apple and peanuts and things like that in the morning. And then I'll have, I think today I had Chinese food for lunch.
Okay.
And then I won't have dinner because that usually just holds me, and I usually don't have dinner.
Okay. And are you eating? Remember when you and I talked, you had said privately, you said to me, I really don't know what clean eating means. Do you need any clarification about that?
You could reiterate if you don't mind.
So
I have an idea.
Yeah.
But...
So clean eating, that's a term that kind of comes out of the world of competitions, because I didn't even hear it till I started competing, right? So clean eating, what do you think about when you think of clean eating? It's no junk food, no processed food, no trash. If I'm going to eat chicken, I'm going to eat plain, pure, broiled chicken. I don't eat a bunch of sauces and crap all over it. I cut all sugar out of my diet. If I eat plain steamed vegetables, at the most I'll put pink Himalayan sea salt and coconut oil or vegetable oil, or olive oil on it. Everything is just clean and pure and as natural as it can be. If you're going to eat an apple, eat a whole organic apple, rather than applesauce or dried apples or things like that. Just really clean. And anything that's processed or sugar or chemicals or dyes, it's all got to go.
It's got to go.
Yeah.
Is clean eating pleasurable? I hear hunger and I hear unpleasant when I hear clean eating.
Okay, Rich just laughed. Rich, you just made Rich laugh. He thinks it's because Rich agrees with you, but to me, I'm never hungry because I eat a very, 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 very high fat diet. Russell, I struggled a lot with clinical depression in my past, and if I don't eat the brain is made up of fat. If I don't eat a very high fat diet in the form of nuts, organic raw seeds, avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, chicken, beef, turkey, sardines, fish, fatty fish, things like that. If I don't eat a lot of fat, I'm hungry all the time. And also I'll spiral into a depression. So I personally am never hungry, because when you eat a preponderance of fat, as the main macronutrient in your diet, fat and protein, you're not going to be hungry. Your palate will adjust. Because I don't eat any sugar anymore, whereas I used to live on sugar. I used to live on a steady stream of sugar. Now I eat no sugar. Things like organic raw cashews actually taste very sugary to me. Does that make sense? Because my palate changed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely get the eliminating the sugars, and because I have a sweet tooth,
Yeah.
But I definitely want to eliminate the sugars. But my challenge is I'm allergic to a lot of things, like tree nuts. I'm allergic to avocados, because you brought avocados up.
Yes.
I'm allergic to cantaloupes, any melon, bananas. So I could really get myself in trouble if I'm not deliberate and intentional about the foods that I'm putting into my body.
Well, Russell, you have to be deliberate and intentional. You always should be deliberate and intentional about the things you put in your body. So avoid all tree nuts. Avoid, the fruits that don't jive with you. Rich can't eat apples, right, Rich? You don't eat. Yeah, Rich can't eat apples. I mean, you have allergies. I mean, we all have food sensitivities and allergies. You should be. Remember what I told you? One of the things I told you the last time we talked, I said everything you do right now should be with intention.
Yes.
Everything you eat, everything you drink, every move you make, every decision you make, everything should be with intention, because you had the rug pulled out from under you. And if you cut all of the sugar out of your diet and all of the processed trash, you'll find yourself less prone to anxiety and panic. I can tell you that.
Okay.
And what my goal for you would be to control your moods and to control your brain chemistry primarily with diet, and perhaps amino acids. L-tryptophan raises serotonin levels. N-acetyltyrosine raises dopamine levels. GABA keeps the brain calm, things like that, as opposed to taking Paxil and Xanax, which are hard on the liver. Because when you take drugs, now you're giving your liver another job. Do you know what I mean? So let's see if we can make it the goal to kind of clean up what you're putting in your body so the drugs can slowly be weaned away.
Yes, that would be my greatest desire, because I have an addictive personality, and I don't want to be a pill popper.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I have to take it right now until the prescription's out, until I get level. But I'd like to transition, as you said, into a healthy diet that would also that would serve the same purpose.
Well, what would
as the pills?
Listen, I'm going to send you, in addition to what was the first one I said, CBD. I told you I'd send you. I'm going to send you a link to the Food for Mood with Dr. Millie. Yeah. And here's what I want you to consider. Consider talking to the prescribing physician who gave you the Paxil and the Xanax. Those things you need to wean off. You cannot just stop an antidepressant on one day. Things have to be titrated off. You have to just kind of wean your way off.
Correct.
As you're weaning your way off, if I were you, I would talk to a naturopathic doctor who has a specialty in this area. Dr. Millie does it, who works with things like supplements, amino acids, things that balance brain chemistry, and diet that can balance your brain chemistry, so we can sort of wean you off the drugs, the processed food, and all the crap. Get all the alcohol out of your system, get all the the party drugs out of your system, and then get you eating in such a way and supplementing in such a way that we can balance you that way. And that way, real balance can be achieved rather than masking anxiety. Do you know there's a difference?
Absolutely.
There's a difference between masking anxiety with a Xanax and getting rid of anxiety in your body because you've balanced your brain. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll send you.
I appreciate that. I was actually on your page, and I saw the Food for Mood. I was actually going to watch that, but if you're going to send me the link, I'll just open the link and do it right from the email.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
yes.
I wanted to answer your question, sweetie, because when I asked you if you wanted to be on the show, first of all, thank you for being with us. We all appreciate it very much. You asked two questions that I thought were very, very interesting. You said, how much time do you give yourself to grieve before you, quote, get on with your life? Is that your dog beating on the door? Because I can hear it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm as far away from her as I can get.
I know. Sorry. Well, she must be the size of a small horse, right?
She's actually a 7-pound dog.
Oh, because she sounds like a Shetland pony, honey. And you also asked the question, how does one turn tragedy into purpose using one's God-given gift to do so? So I wanted to address those with you because I thought those were really good questions.
Yes.
The first is, and I need to say this as a disclaimer because I don't want to pose as something I'm not. We realize that I'm not a life coach. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist of any kind. I took Psych 101 when I was a freshman at Baylor. That was it. You know, right? You know that my area of expertise is in exercise physiology, right? So I'm not trying to pose as somebody I'm not.
Yes.
But I've been around the block a minute. And I've been through my own stuff in life. And I've also interviewed a lot of experts that it's almost been sitting in on a master class every week, for the last 10 years.
Yes.
So what I can tell you from what I know from experts and from just my own experience is that to the answer to how much time do you give yourself to grieve before you, quote, get on with life? The answer is there really is no answer. Because there's absolutely no timetable, because every situation is different. Every person is different. Even though, for example, both you and your mother are grieving Danielle, it's still very different. Your mother's experience of being a mother to Danielle and her experience of the grief is completely different from yours. Just because the two of you are different, your relationship with Danielle was different. You were, for one thing, you were used to having Danielle in the house and seeing her every day. Your mother may not have had that kind of relationship. On the other hand, your mother was her mother.
Correct.
This was her child. This was her child, a part of her. So there's no real timetable. And most experts will say it's just got to kind of happen. It's really personal, and it just has to kind of happen on your timetable because so many things factor into how you feel at any given point. And you and I talked about this. We already talked about this in June. At first, when it first happened, there was like a flurry of activity and people came out from everywhere to support you, and there was a lot for you to do. Remember that?
Absolutely.
I mean, there was just a lot to do. There were a lot of logistics that you had to take care of when a person kills herself in your bathroom. I mean, there's just a lot to do. There's a lot to take care of. And there's this flurry of activity, and friends come out of the woodwork to support you, and it's lovely. But what happens is that all happens during the flurry of activity. And then sadly, once the flurry of activity calms down and you don't have as much to do, right around that time, all of the social support sort of ebbs. Did you notice that?
Yes, absolutely. It disappeared.
It disappears. Yeah.
People disappear.
Not because they mean to, not because they mean any harm. It's just people responded to the event. And then when the event seemed to have passed, we've now had the funeral, we've had the memorial service, everybody kind of gets back on with their lives. And as we've already discussed, some people are now going to feel very awkward bringing it up because their thought is going to be, I feel like I should ask him, but I don't know if I should bring it up because I don't want to upset him.
Right. Absolutely. I experienced that 100%.
Yeah. So then, but the result is you're left feeling very alone.
Absolutely.
And you feel kind of isolated because have you also noticed that people that maybe you and Danielle hung out with as like groups of friends, they feel kind of weird around you. Maybe they don't even invite you.
No, they don't. They matter of fact, they don't like me. I've had some negative interactions with some of them, and so no, we used to be on good terms, and all of her friends, now we are no longer on good terms.
Why are they? Why do they have a beef with you? What did you do?
So my sister was a lesbian,
Okay.
and the woman that she was dating, showed up to the funeral and showed up to the wake.
Okay.
And that just sent everything downhill. And the lesbian community sticks together and they band together with this woman, even against me as the brother.
May I ask a question? Did somebody have a problem with her partner, the woman that Danielle was dating? Did somebody have a problem with her coming to the funeral and the wake?
I had a problem with it. I told them not to invite her, and then her friends invited her anyway.
Do you mind my asking, if it's not too personal, why did you not want her to come if she was Danielle's partner?
Well, they had broken up 2 months prior to that.
Okay.
And the reason why Danielle killed herself was because of some interaction that they were supposed to have that didn't have, and then she ended up killing herself over her. So she wasn't in her life for 2 months.
I got it.
And then all of a sudden she wants to be like a grieving widow.
Okay, so this is what I'm understanding you to say, because Rich and I just both looked at each other. We get it. What I'm understanding you to say is you almost feel, and probably your mother and your family almost feels like, in part, Danielle was despondent and in despair because of this woman, and that's part of the reason that she may have taken her life. And
That's 100%
so
correct.
your thought is, look, woman, this is one of the reasons Danielle's dead. Please don't show your face at our wake and memorial. And then she showed her face, and then that was very offensive to you.
It was very offensive enough for me to get a restraining order against me.
Understood.
From her.
Okay, I understand. You know what, Russell? I would feel the same way. Yeah. I would feel the same way. So basically what I hear you saying then is when she went back to her friends and reported how you behaved, they kind of all, they unfriended you. If
they stick together. You know, they are a community.
Okay.
And so they stick together, even in an irrational way. Like you should be supporting your friends' family as opposed to the catalyst of your friend killing herself.
Right. Right.
even,
Right.
regardless of sexual persuasion.
And that hurts your feelings because you feel like I lost a sister, I lost a community of friends, and then it kind of leaves you feeling like, who were these people? Like what?
Yes,
You know,
absolutely, 100%.
Like you kind of start to question. Well, here's the thing. I find that in tragedy, death, and the big problems in life, who people are really shows, right?
Yes, yes. That's beautiful. There's a saying that says adversity introduces a person to themselves, and so
I love that.
yeah, and so that's so true. It
I
is
love
so
that.
true.
Well, you know what to answer your question, because again, your original question was, where am I? Your original question was, how much time do you give yourself to grieve before you get on with life? Here's what I would do. This is what I did, like when my mother died. Actually, I had an ex-boyfriend who died, and I was kind of floored me when the whole thing happened. Rather than thinking of it as getting on with life, which kind of sounds like leaving Danielle in the past and moving on without her, why don't you think of it as moving forward in your life into a new normal? So you're not getting on, you're not leaving Danielle behind, you're not pretending that this didn't happen. But what you're doing is you're just saying, you know what? I'm going to try to take steps forward into my new normal.
Yes, I like that.
You like that?
I like that. Yeah, it's just a change in perspective.
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah, because
Change in perception.
it's going to be, you were a very devoted brother, and it might be hard for you to feel like, you know what? Danielle's dead. I'm just going to move on, because that's cold. That's harsh. And Danielle, her physical body may not be here, but she's very much here. She's very much in your life still. And a relationship doesn't end just because a person's physical body dies. What you want to think of yourself as doing is, you know what? I'm just going to, in a respectful way, step into my new life, and I'm going to try to take steps moving forward day by day. Not only because I need to for my own sanity, I always need to be moving forward, but also because Danielle would have cringed at the idea of you getting stuck.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, 100%. You're totally correct.
And the thing is it'll also help you with your depression to feel like you're moving forward, because I find that the nature of life is that you're always either moving forward or you're getting left behind. Because even if you're staying where you are, life is always moving forward.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So even if you're standing in the same spot, life is leaving you in the dust.
Yeah, and you know, that has become my biggest fear now that I witnessed somebody with full potential leave this earth. It kind of hit me that it is possible to leave this earth without fulfilling the purpose in which you were born.
Right.
Here's another quote by the Buddha. It says, "And the trouble is, you think you have time."
Yeah, we don't have time.
Right? We have no time.
Nobody has time.
Today, right now.
I know people. I know a guy. I know a guy. I actually interviewed him. There was a freak accident. Literally, his wife was killed 1 minute to the next. Like literally out of nowhere, within 10 seconds, his entire life changed. Like any of us, any one of us, you, me, Rich, any one of us, our entire life could change completely, or it could be wiped away in 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
And so the time to live is now. I'm not saying you still are in the midst of grieving, so you still should grieve. Remember, one of the things that you and I talked about was I suggested that while you're moving forward in your life, getting yourself in shape, cleaning up your eating, getting employment, getting yourself social support, making new friends and getting out and socializing a little bit, maybe having some fun if you feel up to it. I also suggested that you consciously carve out time every day to just be with your thoughts and be with Danielle, to grieve, basically.
Yes.
It could be sitting in a room quietly and thinking about her. It could be sitting in a room and talking out loud to her. It could be feeling her presence in her room, because you still live in the same house, correct?
Correct.
Right. Have you ever walked into her room, and you feel her presence still in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you want to give yourself every day. So because while your life is moving forward and while you're taking conscious steps to move things forward, and that's a step whenever you're moving forward, you're stepping away from depression, right? Because depression
Correct.
is in a way you're stuck. It's impossible to move forward and be depressed at the same time, correct?
I would agree with you on
Right.
that.
So is while you're taking these conscious steps to move forward, give yourself dedicated time every night. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you feel you want, to just pray to Danielle, think about Danielle, honor Danielle. Give yourself time to grieve, because you can't just sort of run away from grieving, because that will have a nasty effect. That'll tend to catch up with you, and it'll come out in very negative ways, self-destructive ways, right?
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Right. That's where your drinking and your taking drugs came in. That was an attempt. You were attempting to run away from your grief, and you cannot run fast enough and you cannot run far enough to get away from grief. The only way to do it is with drugs and alcohol.
That's right.
Right. Or
just numb it.
Right. Or the smart way to do it would be to go through it, to say, you know what? It sucks. It's painful, but it is what it is. Danielle is gone. No amount of alcohol is going to bring her back. No drug I can take is going to bring her back. I may as well go through this once and for all, because grief is something that once you go through it, then you go through it once and we're done.
Yes.
It's not going to last for the rest of your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So that'll be our new perspective, moving forward in your life. And, listen, even as you move forward, I want to say this. Feelings of very profound and deep sadness will come up even when, let's say you think it's 3 months from now and you feel like you're really moving forward in your life. Maybe you've even met a new woman, you started a new relationship. I mean, who knows? You're really feeling happy. Something may happen, and I don't want you to be surprised if something happens and it just kind of feels like it pulls you back to the day she died. I mean, it could be something like you're going through a drawer and you run into a scarf of hers that you didn't even know was there. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Or you're driving by yourself down the freeway and her favorite song comes on the radio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Little triggers.
Those things will pull you back, and it'll be no different from the day that she died.
That's right.
I want you to know that that's normal.
Okay.
It's completely normal. My mother died over 12 years ago, and I still have instances of that. I'll hear something, or I'll see something, or I'll see I'll see a possession of hers. Or somebody will say something, and it'll trigger me, and it's just like the last 12 years never happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're normal. You're normal, and that's not something to be numbed or ignored. It's something to be felt, because remember what we said in June? Feelings are emotions, are energy in motion. If you try to numb them or stuff them down, they're going to come out in other ways. They're going to go somewhere, right? They have to. So I think it's smarter, if you're sad, cry. If you're feeling lonely, talk to a friend, call up someone in a support group. The great thing about support groups is you guys usually make friends with each other. You're feeling sad. Maybe you call up somebody and you go, I'm just really miserable right now. I need to talk. Right?
Yep. And they usually don't mind, because
no,
you're there to support each other around a common situation. So yeah, that's true.
And I want to say one other thing too. I just want to tell you one quick story that's going to illustrate. And how are we doing on time? Am I keeping you too long?
No, we're fine.
Are we okay? Okay. I wanted to tell you a story about someone who was in my life. And I'm going to tell you the story so you can watch out for this. Years ago, nearly 15 years ago, I was dating a guy, lovely guy. I'll call him John. 3 years before I met him, his little sister, who was in her 30s and married, had died of cancer. And it was a very small family, similar to you. It was just the mom, the dad, him, and his sister. And she was a beautiful girl, and her life, she had just gotten married, and her life was just starting, and she was full of potential, just like you described, Danielle. And she died of cancer. It was very tragic. By the time I met him, he seemed to have, as you said in your question, moved on, right? He was back to work. He was, socializing. He was involved in the community. He was volunteering. Everything seemed normal. But the one thing I noticed, Russell, and I noticed this because I was dating him, as our relationship progressed, I noticed that he almost felt guilty about being happy, about having joy, because it was almost like when we would start to have fun or we would start to be happy, it was almost like he felt guilty because his sister couldn't be happy. His sister couldn't have the experience. And so in that sense, it seemed like he was done grieving, right?
Right.
It seemed to the outside world as though he had moved forward, but he was very stuck in that he felt tremendous guilt about having happiness in his life because his sister couldn't have happiness because she was no longer alive. And in that sense, he was terribly stuck. And it ended up kind of breaking up our relationship because if you're stuck, the woman that you're dating is going to be stuck with you, right?
Absolutely.
So what I want you to be aware of, because you seem very self-aware, is you seem very aware of your emotions about your grief. But if you find yourself, you're at a party at the beach and you're having a good time and you feel guilty and you say to yourself, wait, where does that guilt come from? Is it because Danielle normally would have been there? Or do you understand my point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just like almost the weight of the guilt of I should have been able to do something to change the situation, and but I couldn't, so I don't deserve to have a good time. I don't deserve to smile.
Right.
And I know that's a lie.
Or if you meet a woman and because you told me right before I worked with you in June, a relationship had broken up. Remember, you had like the deadly trifecta, like you lost a relationship, a job, and your sister all in like 2 months or a month.
Correct.
Like let's say in the new year, you meet a lovely, beautiful, you meet a lovely woman, you start to find yourself falling in love and you feel guilty. Like, well, who am I to to like enjoy my life and have this great relationship? Danielle can't. If you find yourself doing that, please promise me that you will get one-on-one grief support, because that is an indication that you are stuck. You are just dead stuck. And what it's going to do is it's going to make you lose relationships. It's going to make you lose friendships, because people will stick around for a while trying to see to it that you get help. But after a while, nobody's going to stay stuck with you.
Correct. I agree with that.
Does that make sense?
And why should they? It's not their responsibility. It's my responsibility.
I didn't stay stuck with this guy. I couldn't do it. I mean, I was sorry that his sister died, and I was sorry about everything. But I encouraged him to get help. He didn't want to get help. It wasn't the life I was seeking.
Correct.
So I want you, if you're really going to be able to move forward, I want you to be able to move forward with an open heart and free of guilt. Because again, we talked about in June, one of the layers of grief in a situation where there's a suicide is tremendous guilt. What did I miss? Oh my gosh, wait, Danielle tried to talk to me the night before and I brushed her off. I told her I didn't have time. Maybe if I had said I had time, maybe it would have been okay. What did she say to me? Maybe I could have done something. Do you know what I mean? That whole thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The second question, honey, is how does one turn tragedy into purpose using one's God-given gifts to do so? This is a very simple answer. Find a way to serve others in need, because there are people who need what you have to give.
Got it.
There are people who are going to come up behind you now who are going to lose people they love to suicide, who have no idea how to cope. They have no idea what to do first. They're lost. Yes. And if you can find a way to take your situation and turn it around so that you can help other people, it will help them heal and it will help you heal.
I love it.
And
I love it.
aren't you are you a reverend or a minister or something?
Yeah, in my past life, that was for
Mm,
12 years, I was a youth minister, and I've been to seminary and
mm,
Masters of Divinity, blah blah blah. I'm kind of in a different space in my spiritual walk now. Not
okay.
necessarily that I want to sit up in the pulpit.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, that was definitely a big part of my
You know what
life.
you could do? I just had like the coolest thought. Because your sister was part of the LGBTQ community and you have a background as a youth minister, and we know that suicide rates in the LGBTQ community in their youth, the youth LGBTQ community has high suicide rates because a lot of
Yes.
them, they're not accepted by their families, they're shunned by their whole support system. These kids commit suicide left and right. They're
Yeah, they do.
bullied. Why not? Wouldn't it be like a beautiful thing if you started as a youth minister, and I don't know how you would do this, but it would perhaps be through a church in your area. What if you started, or it wouldn't even have to be through a church. What if you started a group for struggling kids in the LGBTQ community who are grappling with the idea of suicidal thoughts, or and I'm not saying that you have the psychological skills to, obviously you might want to get other people involved, maybe a social worker or something. But
Yes,
what if you
yes.
started, I mean, that's a way to bridge what, Danielle's community with your desire to help people who are either struggling as family members of people who have committed suicide or people who are suicidal, and use your skills as like a youth minister. What do you
I
think of
like.
that?
I think that's a great start. And honestly, that never crossed my mind. But
Yeah.
that is a great place to start. Because my gifts, skills, and talents are the ability to speak effectively and the
Hmm.
ability to write effectively.
Yeah.
And so I definitely want to be able to use both of those so that I can, help, if not the world, my world around me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you could focus on LGBTQ youth. You
Sure.
could focus on veterans. You could, I mean, there are a lot of, I looked this up. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. And on average, there are 129 deaths by suicide every day in this country. And I think the statistic is about 22 of those are veterans. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what the statistics are for LGBTQ youth, but what I know is this. There are people, Russell, who need what you have. They
Yeah.
need you. They need you. And if you can find a way to help them, the benefit is you're doing something good for other people, but you're healing your own heart.
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm with that. I
So
am with that. I appreciate it.
that's what I would do if I were you.
I
Because
appreciate it. I am been writing this whole time, and I'll ponder it and pray about it, and we'll see what happens as we go forward. And as you said, with intention.
yeah, you're going to move forward into your new life, your new normal. You're just moving forward, taking steps daily, moving toward your new life, your new normal. And
Yeah.
Danielle's coming with you. You're not leaving anybody in the dust. You're not blocking anything out. It's time to start with a new normal. And now that you've been through that phase where you did drugs, you did alcohol, you tried to numb, you realize now that numbing doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So now I think you're ready. I think you tried to numb because you were scared to cope.
Correct. I would
Right?
agree with that.
But now you see that numbing doesn't work, and you realize that you're going to be kind of forced into coping. Part of coping is going to probably be get more support throughout the holidays. And again, I would look for a group that you could meet with more than once a month,
Sure.
and look for a way to plug in. My most immediate advice was to go and get trained on one of these suicide hotlines, where when someone suicidal calls one of these hotlines, you pick up the phone. And
That's a great idea.
and you can
That's a
say,
great idea.
look, dude, I know how you feel. My sister, did this, and the people you love would miss you so much. My own sister, you know what I mean? Like, you can help so many sides of this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate
Do you-
your thoughtful suggestions.
Do you,
I really do.
do you have any final questions?
No, I think I'm good. I really appreciate the direction that you've given me. I'm definitely was was already at least thinking along the same
Mm-hmm.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
And this, let's say, this could be considered confirmation that I'm at least on the right track.
Oh, yeah, you're very much on the right track. You're very
Yeah,
much on the right track. You had to go through what you had to go through, Russell. And you know what? It's nobody's place to judge you because nobody's standing in your shoes. But
that's right.
now I think you've learned that you can't skip this. I think you've also learned that it's going to be healthy body, healthy mind, healthy soul. So you can't be trashing up your body with junk or alcohol or drugs because it's going to screw up your brain. And if your
Right.
brain's not right, you're not going to make right choices. So again, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy soul. Go out and heal other people. It'll help you heal yourself and feel
Yes.
what you feel. Don't ever try to not feel something because the way to deal with feelings is to feel them and to let them move through you, and then they go away. They kind of pass. It's like a wave. They come in and then they come out, right?
It ebbs and flows.
All right.
All right. I appreciate it, Tara.
All right, sweetheart. I will email you those two shows, and you email me anytime you want, okay, honey? And you can text me. You also have my cell phone.
Okay.
You can text me
I
anytime you want,
do.
okay, sweetie?
I really
Okay.
appreciate it. And thank you, Rich and Richie. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. All right. Hey. Yeah, we all
All
love you,
right.
honey. Okay, God bless you, sweetheart.
Bless you. Y'all
Okay.
take care.
Bye-bye, honey.
Good
You,
evening.
bye-bye, dear. You guys, I would be remiss. Every time I do a show about this topic, I just want to give out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you're watching this, they are open 24/7. 365 days a year. They provide confidential support for either people who are in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved one, and best practices for professionals. That's again the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can call them right now if you need help. It's 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Someone's there right now to talk to you, or you can go on their website for resources, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Okay, so we just talked to Russell. And again, if you want to hear that episode, the first episode that I did with Russell, go to TaraMarie.com and you can search in the Tara Marie Live episodes, Healing After Loss. It's a very interesting episode. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch gears and I'm going to address a listener. I had hoped that he could be with us. His name is Ryan. Ryan was in a very serious accident in March of this year, just 8.5 months ago. And he actually was supposed to join us from a rehab facility where he's currently undergoing rehabilitation for a recent back surgery. But just this morning, starting at 5:23 in the morning, I got a series of texts from his girlfriend saying that Ryan started to have seizures during the night. They were severe. They had to rush him to the hospital, and he's now in the intensive care unit. So since Ryan can't be on the show to talk, I wanted to at least address him and give him some answers to the questions that he had asked. And when Ryan is better and he's home and he's out of the woods from all of this, Ryan, we'll have you on and I'll do a full show with you, okay? And I'll talk to you about anything you want to work on. So I wanted to tell you guys about Ryan. In April of 2018, I got a couple emails from Ryan. On April 17th, he said, Tara, I'm looking for a personal trainer to consult with to discuss my health conditions I'm currently dealing with. I'm interested in working with you. I'm currently rehabbing for a broken leg, a broken ankle, and I had surgery 26 days ago. I go in tomorrow for my walking boot, and then I'll start slowly back to the gym. And at this point, I didn't know much information. And I emailed him back and I said, what medical conditions are we talking about? And then he said to me, I have very severe depression. I had 3 very bad physical injuries that have set me back. Lately, I've been feeling depressed and down that I got injured. My depression has kept me in a negative attitude. Now, Ryan originally wrote to me actually seeking a private consultation work with me. And at the time, I didn't have time to take on a private consultation client, but I always kept Ryan in mind for if I, did one of these shows because I wanted to help him and I wanted to work with him. This is a timeline. Now, as I decided to do this show and work with him, and I've been in touch with his lovely very devoted girlfriend who has been by his side every step of the way. I just kind of learning more about Ryan's story. And just to set this up for you, I want to tell you what he's been through. On March 25th of 2018, he's walking outside and a huge tree falls on him. Just total freak accident. A tree falls on him and it injured his back, his right ankle, and it tore an ACL. ACL is the anterior cruciate ligament of one of his knees. It was so bad, he was rushed to the hospital. He was hospitalized for 9 days. And on March 26th, the next day, he had to have emergency ankle surgery. On April 4th, he had surgery on his ACL, his anterior cruciate ligament in one of his knees. And from that, he suffered nerve damage. Now, this is where he starts to have complications. April 17th is when he emailed me. By then, he's already fallen into a depression because his injuries are such that he's kind of stuck at home. He went to physical therapy for 3 weeks. He never improved. On May 7th, he had his first surgery on his back. He suffered severe nerve damage, and he got severe back issues from that. Just this past Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, he went in for another back surgery, and I had talked to him just before Thanksgiving. This back surgery was supposed to fix all of the problems from his first back surgery. From this surgery, however, he ended up in a wheelchair. So I just want people to understand this. Imagine one day you're walking along, you're hit by a tree. It injures you so severely that it sort of takes you out of the game of your life, injuring an ankle, a knee, and your back. And everything is so messed up that you end up having to have multiple surgeries. And on the final surgery that you had the day after Thanksgiving that was supposed to fix everything, you come out of that and you're in a wheelchair. Can you imagine? Just imagine that. I just wanted to set that scene because, quite honestly, that is a very traumatic thing. And, the theme of this show is from setback to comeback. And I just want to let everybody know that, I've worked with people over the years and I've seen different situations in life. We all go through setbacks, and some setbacks are physical, like what happened to Ryan. You're in a bad accident, or you lose a part of your body, or you lose physical function in a part of your body. And this happens to a lot of people. You may have surgery and you lose function in your legs and you end up in a wheelchair like Ryan. You may lose a limb because you have type 2 diabetes. You may be a woman and you're diagnosed with breast cancer and you're told we have to do a double mastectomy. And you lose a part of your body. You may be a man who has prostate cancer and they fix your prostate cancer and you're left impotent. So you lose function in a part of your body. These things are physical in nature, but they're very devastating. Then there are setbacks that are more mental and emotional, like you go through a divorce and you go through all the anguish of that. The loss of someone you love, like we just talked to Russell and his family. Your home is destroyed in a hurricane or a flood or something. You lose your job and you don't know where you're going to get money. The important thing to remember is even though those things don't affect your body, they still take a great toll on your mental and emotional state. And what I want to impart to Ryan today, because he wants really help kind of getting through this acute period during which he's just feeling so devastated, is that even the physical setbacks that we experience in life, the car accidents, the freak accidents, the things that affect our physical body, they're really mental and emotional in nature. They're really mental and emotional setbacks. And the strength of your mind is going to directly affect how you heal physically. Because everybody knows a human being can go about 40 days without food. Your body can go about 3 days without water. But as we've seen, talking to Russell, where his sister committed suicide, a person can't even go a single day without hope. When you lose hope, it takes everything down. It's game over. So to recover from a setback, the thing you need the most is hope. You have to have the hope that your life will get better. You have to have the hope that there will be joy in your life again. You have to have a hope that there's a reason that you're still here and that you'll find purpose in your life. And hope comes from having a vision for your life that can't be destroyed because any one thing is taken away from you. Hope comes from a deep belief that your life has meaning and that God has your back. So as I talk to Ryan now, and Ryan, I know that you're going to be watching this because I'm going to be, telling your girlfriend to make sure you do. I want you to understand that because I know that you've been going through a lot of depression. I know that you've been going through a lot of anxiety. I know this has been really hard. And I was really hoping to talk to you today because I can't even imagine how you feel since finding out that it's likely that you may be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Okay. And I want you to know that I would do anything to help you, Ryan. And I'm so sorry that this has been happening. But Lauren has been keeping me apprised of the situation day by day. And I want you to know that just having Lauren in your life is such a huge blessing because she has been by your side, as I'm sure you're aware. When you're awake, she's there. When you're sleeping, she's there. When the nurses come in, she's watching after them. So you have something, Ryan, a blessing in your life in Lauren that a lot of people don't have. And I just want you to know how lucky you are to have that. One of the things that Lauren told me today is that they've just found that you have spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spaces within your spine, and it can put pressure on the nerves that travel through the spine. And they think that this probably has something to do with the nerve damage that has caused you to be in a wheelchair. And one of the things you asked was, how do I get through this hard emotional stress, all of the stress of recovering? And I found a quote for you, Ryan, that I thought you would enjoy. This is by Bruce Lee, the actor, the film director, and the martial artist. And he said, this is quote, I think this is genius. He said, "Defeat is a state of mind. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality." What do you think about that? That's cool, isn't it, Rich? Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Defeat is a state of mind. In fact, what he's basically saying is there's no such thing as defeat until you've decided that you've been defeated. So what I want to tell you, Ryan, and I know right now it's hard because you had the surgery the day after Thanksgiving. I know that the plan was for you to go to a rehab hospital and you were supposed to be home by yesterday. So you're not even supposed to be in the hospital today, much less a rehab center. So I understand that all the complications have been frustrating and I know that it's been very hard. Keep in mind, honey, that you've been on a lot of medications, and according to Lauren, a lot of the complications that you've had have been because the medications have interacted with each other. So I just want you to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At some point, as your body gets stronger, and you're released from the rehab facility and you're not having to go in and out of the hospital, once you're finally home, honey, things will look a whole lot better because you'll be on just a pain management schedule of drugs, and hopefully those will slowly taper off, and you'll start to feel like you're going to be getting back to a new normal because you're going to have to create a new normal now that you're going home with a different set of circumstances than we thought you were going to go home with. But what you need to think about, Ryan, and listen, you're 29 years old, and I've talked to you on the phone a couple times, and we've emailed before. You're a strong guy, and I know, thank God, you've got family support and you've got support of loved ones. Where you are in your mind is where you are. That's basically what Bruce Lee's quote is saying. Wherever you are in your mind, mentally, that's where you are. That is your reality. The state of your mind is more important than the state of your circumstances. Does that make sense, Ryan? The state of your mind, right now especially, is far more important than the state of your circumstances, because I know that these are difficult circumstances. I get that. And I want you to keep in mind when things get to the point where you feel like you're having a hard time coping, this is a period of time. This is a period of time, and you've just got to get through this one period of time. And once they get you home, your life is going to look a whole lot different. The circumstances in which you find yourself today are not going to last. You have to keep repeating that to yourself, almost like a mantra, because I know that what's happening is your brain is getting hijacked by everything that's happening to you and everything that's getting thrown at you, all of the complications that have been unexpected. It's starting to produce a lot of anxiety. Just keep reminding yourself, the circumstances I am in today will not last. The circumstances I am in today will not last. Because again, this is an acute phase after a surgery. I've seen this happen before. This happened to my own father. He went in for a surgery. He should have been out in a week. He was in the hospital for 9 weeks. And every week we thought he was going to die. So I lived with a suitcase packed and ready to take a flight home. So what I'm saying is, Ryan, this is not unusual for things to happen after a surgery, and this too will pass, I promise you. You have to remind yourself over and over that this is a period of time and that you'll be able to get through this. And again, all you've got to do is get through this point, and then you can get home with Lauren and you can start your new normal. Because Ryan, where you are today in your life is not as important to your future as what you do today. Does that make sense? Where you are today in your life, when you think about your future, is not as important as what you do today. You're not alone. We all suffer greatly, and you have to give meaning to your suffering. If you listen to the first part of the show where I talked to a guy named Russell, we talked about giving meaning to your suffering. Otherwise, this is just wasted suffering, wasted pain. After you get through this, I want you to find a way to turn around and help other people who are in the same situation, because there are other people who are going to go through what you've gone through who are not going to have a clue, and they're going to need support. You have to have a purpose in your life that's greater than any problem that you may have, because the purpose will carry you through on your worst days. So I was hoping to talk to you today and get an idea of, what your life was like before this accident. And since I don't know that, I'm just going to say to you that even in the midst of everything that's going on, you have to find meaning and purpose in your day-to-day life, because otherwise all of these problems, it'll start to feel like the walls are caving in. The vision that you had for your life, Ryan, before this accident on March 25th of 2018 can still be the vision you have for your life today. The execution of it may look a little different, right? So if your vision was to have a certain job, have a certain life, get married to Lauren, have a family, all those things can still come to pass. I know men in wheelchairs who are married with children. So this can still happen. Your life vision can still play out. Just the execution of it may play out in a little bit of a different way. And doctors say, according to what Lauren said, doctors say that you may be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. But according to Lauren's texts, they've given you a 5% chance that you can possibly get out of your wheelchair and walk again. What I would do, Ryan, in that circumstance is I would forget about the 5% part. And I would just keep reminding myself that the doctors indicated that there's a chance that I may walk again. And I would do everything in my power to push myself toward that goal. I did some research, and they're starting to do something called, neurostimulation. There were researchers in Switzerland that applied stimulation to spinal cords of men who had been paralyzed in wheelchairs for decades. And these men were able to get up and walk. It's with a wireless implanted device that emits pulses of electricity. So there are leaps and bounds happening in technology. And because there's a chance that you may walk again, and because you've only not been walking for about a week, it's easier for things to happen for you than it would be for someone who had been in a wheelchair for 10 years. So I just want you to maintain hope and keep working hard toward that goal. Work with your occupational therapist, work with your physical therapist. I just don't want you to lose hope, Ryan. And you could just Google paralyzed people or get up, walk from wheelchairs. If you Google this, you can do the same research that I did and read articles about this neurostimulation that doctors are doing. It was done at the University of Louisville. They stimulated the spinal cord of patients, and patients were able to get up and walk. And then with the physical therapy and occupational therapy, they were able to walk on their own eventually. I also want you to think, Brian, because I know that you were athletic before this injury. Before I came here today, I Googled the term wheelchair athlete. You should look up Alex DuPont. Alex DuPont is a famous wheelchair athlete out of Canada who, when he was 17 years old, was in an accident and lost one of his legs. And now he's a Paralympian. Paralympics are for people with disabilities, just like the Olympics are for able-bodied people. You can still work out, even if you are stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. You can still carry on. You can do athletic things. There's a lot of stuff you can do, Ryan, even if you are in a wheelchair. You also asked best foods and nutrition, because I know you've lost a lot of weight. You've gotten down to 130 pounds, which is not very much weight for a man. I know that you're going to be working with Dr. Millie to get on a diet to help you with your migraine headaches that have started. But what I want to encourage you to do, just like I encouraged Russell to do, is now more than ever, I want you to eat whole, clean, nutrient-dense foods. Because you've lost so much weight since this accident. I don't know what you weighed before this accident, but 130 pounds is very slight for a man. I want you to get as many nutrient-dense calories in your diet as you can. Eat a lot of healthy fats, animal protein, nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil, coconut oil. Get rid of all processed food and all junk food. eat the calorie-dense foods to add healthy weight, and continue working with Dr. Millie to get on a special diet that'll help with the migraines. And what I would do if I were you, Ryan, is after you get out of the rehab facility where you're on so many IV medications, opioid drugs, ibuprofen, and things like that, I would talk to Dr. Millie about getting on a diet that will help you clean out your liver after having been on so many prescription drugs, because your liver's taken a hit from all this. The other thing you asked about me was upper body workouts that you can do. And I wish you're in Massachusetts. I wish that you were in New York City. I'd come by the hospital and I'd show you. Right now, if doctors say it's okay, you can start working your upper body using TheraBands. You can, if you or Lauren Google TheraBands, THERA, TheraBands. You can buy them online. They're basically large rubber bands that you've probably been using in your rehab or in physical therapy. You can use those to do back, chest, bicep, tricep. I would get either a physical therapist or a personal trainer to show you how to best use them. And then once you're home and your body has gotten stronger than it is now, because now you're very vulnerable, you've just had a surgery, then you can go to town. You can start using dumbbells, free weights, barbells. And so you can really get some assistance. And even if you are in a wheelchair, you can go to the gym and you can really strengthen your upper body. So that's 100% doable. But Ryan, what I would do is I would do it under the care of someone who knows what they're doing, so they can make sure that you're using the right form and you won't hurt your back. One of the things you also asked about is you feel lonely. You feel very isolated. And I know that that's how you fell into a depression the first time when you had the accidents and you were having all of the complications. You just kind of sat at home and you felt lonely and isolated. One of the things to do to keep from feeling isolated is to reach out yourself. When you have more energy and you feel better, you could start going online. You could start making videos. You could make videos. You could launch your own YouTube channel. You can make videos about your progress to inspire other people who are in your situation. You could find a support group in your area. I just was talking to Russell. I'm real big on support groups because support groups are filled with people who understand you. So you could possibly find a support group in your area in Massachusetts with people who are disabled, or they're in wheelchairs, and people who are trying to cope with the same situation that you're in. You could also give encouragement to others. At some point, you're going to be in a position where you're feeling stronger, and you may feel like you want to volunteer or help other people who are going through what you're going through now, since you've already been there before and you can actually help them. Post on Facebook, keep in touch with people, because again, I think the reason you fell into the depression the first time was because you got bummed out because of the circumstances and you isolated. So either via social media or person to person or however you can, you need to not isolate, reach out to people, ask for help, give help in return, because the main thing is to not isolate and to give away in life what it is that you want. So if you want friendship, give friendship. If you want love, give love. If you want support, give support. And I feel very good knowing that you're surrounded by a lot of people. You're surrounded by friends and family, and I'm very grateful for that. And what I want to do is have you on the show to talk to me. We will schedule one of these Ask Tara Marie episodes, and we'll get you on and we can sort out things in more detail. But I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you because, Ryan, this is just a period of time. This is a very brief period of time. And I know right now it seems like forever, but I think your attitude is really fantastic. And I think for someone who's been through what you've been through, you're handling it with a lot of grace and a lot of dignity. All right. And I'm going to keep in touch with Lauren, and I'll be in touch with you too off the air. Okay, honey? It's time for the Tara Marie's Tip segment. So I just wanted to talk to everybody, really. This is the time of year where everybody's talking about, the New Year's coming. Everybody's thinking about sort of doing a year in review. We're looking at what happened this year, what we could do better. And everybody around this time of year is thinking about New Year's resolutions. And I'm all for New Year's resolutions. I make and break the same ones every year. But I think that what you should think about, rather than just an isolated New Year's resolution, is I think it's beneficial if you would think about your life in the broader sense. This whole show, my whole brand, is about getting to the best version of yourself. That's usually what most of us want. We want to be the best version of ourselves by the time we leave this planet. And it's a process. But getting to the best version of yourself takes constant work. It takes a willingness to look at who you are and what your life has become. And it also takes an almost insatiable desire to change, because it's hard for us to change. We don't usually like change. So I would encourage you to think less about what you want to do in your life, because we all tend to think about, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Think about less about that and think about more, who is the person you want to be? So think less about what you want to do and more about who is the person you want to be. So you want to ask yourself these questions. Are you everything you want to be right now? Are you there yet? Are you living a life that you admire? Are you proud of who you are? How you answer those questions will inform how you proceed, because you're responsible for your life. I'm responsible for my life. Everybody's responsible for their own lives. Don't get to the end of your life before you figure that out. Understand that right now, whatever state your life is in, you were a partner in that. You co-created your life, your mental state, your emotional state, and your physical state. Because your life today, as you sit here, is just a reflection of the past. So you know that to get different results, you have to do different things. You have to stretch beyond what's comfortable. If you're always comfortable, you're never going to grow. Your life will change the very day that you decide it's going to change. If you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. But if you're committed, if you've decided it's time to change and you are committed, you'll do whatever you have to do. You'll do whatever it takes. So just keep that in mind, and keep in mind also that we become ultimately what we pay attention to, what we focus on. So ask yourself from time to time, if you don't like how your life is going, what is my focus right now? Because your focus will be very congruent with what the majority of your thoughts have been. To get what you want, you may need to shift your focus. So if you shift your focus, you shift your thoughts, you're going to shift your life. And also think about your goals. And let your goals rule your decisions and your actions. Let your goals determine what you do, because your feelings tell you what you want, but that's not always what's best for you. Just because you feel like doing something doesn't mean that it's going to be good for you. And you don't want to live at the surface level of feelings. That's what little children do. You want to let your feelings... you want to rule your feelings rather than let your feelings rule you. When you do that, you'll get some control on your world and your life will start to change. Think about, just say, look, I'm going to decide that I'm going to live up to who I was meant to be, who I was created to be. And every decision, every choice that you make, I want you to ask yourself, does this choice move me closer to my destiny or further from it? Because you should be making choices each and every day in every moment that are moving you closer to your destiny. Because every time you take a step away from your destiny, you're just putting yourself backwards that much further. And remember, there is a lesson in everything. Everything that happens to you, the good things and the very horrible things, there's a lesson in them. So I want you to look for the lesson in everything that happens to you, because the only wasted experience in your life is the one from which you do not learn. Even the worst of experiences in your life, they can be the greatest teachers. And I just wanted to leave you with that thought, because as you prepare to launch into 2019, remember the question is not what do you want to do? It's who do I want to be? That is what I want you to ponder as you think about this beautiful new year coming. That is all for our show today. Again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to talk to me on the air the way I did with Russell and the way I would have done with Ryan, please email me and tell me your story. You can email me at tara@taramarie.com. That's TARA at taramarie.com, TARAMARIE.com. We're going to see your email and we might book you for an upcoming show. I would love to hear your story. If you're hearing this episode as a podcast and you want to watch the video of the show, go to youtube.com/Tara Marie Live and look for the video entitled Ask Tara Marie From Setback to Comeback. You can also access my YouTube channel right from my website, taramarie.com. And hey, do me a favor, please rate and review Tara Marie Live on iTunes. Be sure to subscribe to Tara Marie Live using iTunes or whichever podcast app you prefer. prefer. You can subscribe right from my website, taramarie.com. And there you can also find all past episodes of Tara Marie Live. And when you're on my website, please sign up for my mailing list. You'll get my newsletter with all my Tara Marie's tips about nutrition, health, motivation, getting on the path to better health. And also, I always send out information about each episode so you can stay up on what's happening with the show. Connect with me on social media. Facebook and Instagram is @TaraMarieLive and Twitter is @TaraMarie_live. Make better choices today than you did yesterday, and you'll always be moving in the right direction. God bless you. Have a blessed holiday and New Year, and peace out.